This video is mainly about power, the power to create your reality. What is your reality? It's mostly empty space, right? You can even look inside your body and say, it seems solid. Technically, it's mostly water. It's more water than solid, but even within the water, the solid matter of it, it's mostly empty space. If we look at you through an infrared camera, you would light up like a light bulb, whether you're awake or asleep. You're alive, you're a light bulb. You're broadcasting electromagnetic radiation all the time. You're lighting up your reality. And everything in your reality is really lit up by your light, by the light you put out. If you go far enough out into the visible universe, you may get to a point where it just seems like empty space. There's nothing there. There's no stars, no nebula, no galaxies, no matter of any kind. And yet if you can see any kind of light, the light of stars, the light of galaxies, the light of a supernova, anywhere around you, then it's not empty, right? It's filled with energy. The energy of the light is coming through that space at that time. And in your life, you can say that you are always filling your reality with light. Now, you can look at it at a physical level and say, yeah, okay, you're emanating infrared light. Or you can look at it at more of a level of intentionality and choice and decision and say that your life is your light emanating. Now, you can restrict that light in many ways. You can have all kinds of limitations and constraints placed upon it, just as you can block or filter or change the color of different kinds of light of the visible spectrum. What do you want to fill your reality with? What kind of light do you want to put into it? Have you chosen that? There's a couple things to keep in mind here that are the most important. Number one is what you're choosing to put into it, what you're creating with your energy, how you're using your light, what kind of light you're emanating. And the other piece is how you're blocking your light. How are you filtering it out? The light that may want to come from you to create can be blocked. It can be filtered in a variety of ways by basically broadcasting a cancellation signal with it at the same time. For instance, let's say, you want to have sexual abundance in your life, okay? And you think, this is something I really want. I want this. I want a more abundant relationship life, and I want to have a lot more hot sex. Great. You can create that. You can have that. But if you just intend it and you just put that out there into your reality, you may not see the reflections coming back to you. And one of the reasons is you probably have something else blocking that. For instance, shame, judgment, worries about what other people will think, feeling like you need to live up to other people's expectations. What you'll find is that when you want to invite something new into your life and it's not coming in, it feels like, okay, I'm trying to intend it and I'm thinking about it and I'm focusing on it and I'm putting it out there, I'm putting the energy out, I'm emanating the light, but I'm not getting those bounce back reflections of where's the manifestation? It's not coming through. And the reason is you're putting out a counter signal with it. You're putting out loyalty to other people's expectations, for instance. You're putting out shame about it or hiding about it. You can ask yourself, what can you not broadcast freely all throughout your reality? Where is the broken piece of the chain in your intentionality where you feel like you're putting out that counter signal? For instance, are you worried about, well, if I broadcast what I really want all throughout my reality, some people are going to judge me for it. So I can only broadcast it in thin little channels. I can only tell certain people. Well, then why do you have all that other stuff in your reality? All that is blocking. You're loyal to that. And what you'll find is that people who are really happy in their lives and they fill their lives with the light of who they are, what they want to experience, they don't introduce blocking signals. They don't introduce cancellation signals. So, for instance, I know a lot of people who have very sexually abundant lives. I'm one of them. I learned how to create that for myself. And it's, beautiful. It's not the space of wanting it and not having it. It's being in the space of having it, being in the space of, the richness of it, the flow of it. And it's delicious. It's beautiful. And I realized, like trying to make that journey there, it was really not so much about wanting it more. My light, if you want something, your light is shining it all the time. It's all broadcasting, saying, bring me this, I want this, bring this in my life. Reality hears you loud and clear. But what's stopping it from coming through is that you're also using your power to inject constraints and rules and filters that say, oh, I can't have this. One of the worst filters I learned was objectifying reality itself, saying, this doesn't work. Reality is objective. So what difference do my thoughts make? What difference do my own intentions make? Well, they make a hell of a lot of difference if you can remove the filters that tell you it doesn't make a difference. If you can subjectify your life more, if you can realize that life is mostly empty space and reality is mostly empty space and you fill it with energy. And the matter itself is energy. It's frozen light. Our bodies are frozen light and then liquid light. They're solid light. Liquid light. The more liquidy you can be in your energy, the more fluid and more flexible you can be. You can identify with the more liquid flowing parts of yourself. I find that that's a good pathway into opening up my conception of reality and just recognizing the truth that reality is mostly empty space filled with light energy. You are a light being. You realize even on a physical level, most of the matter in your body was at one point inside a star. You're made of stardust. You're made of star material. You're essentially a light bulb in this cosmos of your reality. And so take some responsibility for the light you're emanating, but also how you're filtering and blocking your own light by the rules and things that you put on yourself. Now you may say, oh, well, they're not my rules. They're some of the rules that somebody else created for me. Yeah, but you get to choose now. You still have a choice. And the big lie is that you tell yourself you don't have a choice. You tell yourself, well, reality is just objective. It's just, I'm just a biological being. I don't have the power to shine, the light I want into my reality. That's a choice to put that in your reality. You don't have to make that choice. You can choose not to. You can choose to have more flexible frameworks for how you engage with life. And that's something I spent a lot of years, decades of my life really exploring. What are these most empowering frameworks? And I found probably the most disempowering framework of all was buying into the big lie that this reality is objective, that everything's solid, it's all predictable, it's all deterministic, and we're just these limited beings in this grand landscape of reality that's way bigger than we are and has this, huge past going back billions of years, and it'll have this incredible future going ahead. And we're just this tiny little speck of insignificance, just here for the ride, just exploring it, basically, victims of it. We didn't really choose to be here. And, at some point we die, we pass on, and it just all goes on without us. And the more I bought into that model, the more limited my life became, because the more I put blocks and filters to the light I was wanting to emanate, or I was trying to emanate, and it was just coming out wrong. My light was broadcasting a one color spectrum, and it was being filtered and changing its color. And so the bounce back reflections of my light shining out were not what I wanted, not necessarily what I expected, not what I hoped for. And so instead I learned, let's try a different model of reality. Let's play around. Is that really how reality works? Even objective science tells us this reality is not objective. It depends on the observer. It depends on the perspective we bring to it. We are told that when reality is not being observed by a conscious observer, and it's a question of who qualifies as conscious observers. Is it only you? Is it everyone else? Do animals count? Do plants count? Do rocks count? Well, who knows? But let's say there are no what we define as conscious observers present, then everything just goes into quantum soup. It's just a probability field. It's a field of possibilities. What resolves the probability field? The consciousness we bring to it. And what's consciousness? It's light. It's the light shining from us. It's awareness. It's attention. The attention we give things. That's our light that we're putting out there. And attention is not neutral. Attention has color, just like light does. It has a range to it and the types of frequencies it puts out. It can be, multispectral too. And it can have a lot of different colors and frequencies woven into it. It doesn't have to just be one solid plain color. What else do you want to put into your reality? You can decide that on the positive side. You can decide, okay, I like appreciation and gratitude. Great. There's a lot of people like that. I tried that, and okay, appreciation and gratitude. That's nice. I like it. It's pleasant. It's content. For the most part, I find it a little tame for my default baseline of what I want to experience. So I explore other areas. What I really like is enthusiasm. I like having daily enthusiasm in my life. I like having some variance in the range that I experience. Sometimes calmness, gentleness, cuddliness, coziness. My wife in particular loves those vibes. I like, some intensity and excitement and passion. Another one I love is fun. I love intimacy and depth. I love connection. So I put all those into my life. But I found that the biggest factor in getting them to actually show up, getting them manifest, coming through, and getting past that phase of hoping, wanting, wishing, but not having, and getting into the having, it's not so much about the positive side. The positive side is freaking easy for the most part. Choosing what I want, saying, okay, I want this. Yeah, I want to have abundance. I love time abundance too. I like it not having time pressure, and I like having fun. And then realizing that what determines my rate of progression of how quickly I can move into those new desired realities that I choose It's not how much I can want it and how much I can, intensify my desire for it. I got stuck in that loop for a long time. Maybe you have too. I found it's really more about what's in the way of it. What are the blocks and the filters and the things I need to release? And when those things are in your way, they can also color what you're asking for, and you realize you'll be asking for the wrong things because those filters sort of shift your desire, energy, the frequency of it. For instance, instead of asking for what you really want, you might ask for something like money, or you might ask for something like sex partners, which is not necessarily what you actually want at your core. What you probably want at your core is you want your own frequency to be in a certain range, like in the frequency of fun, the frequency of feeling deeply loved, feeling appreciated, feeling held, feeling enjoyed, something like that. And having that connection with another person, feeling a sense of depth and belongingness, maybe another one. But what's blocking it is something like, unattractiveness, like you don't feel you're attractive. And so you feel, nobody's going to want me. And so then you want it, but you can't have it because that's a blocking frequency. And then it makes you want something else because you think, oh, well, this is what I can get. And it shifts you away from what your real desire is. Your real desire is to rest in joy and explore a certain frequency range of beingness. It's not about chasing after something and trying to claw your way to it through all these action steps and projects and working on yourself. And I say this as somebody who's worked in the self-development field full-time for the past 20 plus years. It's a bit of a delusion, I think, to work on the physical level and to objectify your reality and think you have to climb your way there when there's a major, major shortcut you can take, which is to work in the frequency space, to realize how you're using your vibes and how you're using your thoughts and how you're filtering your light energy. Your light energy is creative. It'll just create stuff that you want if you had it very pure and very unfiltered. Then you will start seeing like the law of attraction operate on overdrive. It's like you have a thought about what you want, and if there's no objection to your desire showing up, it comes through. You already experience this in some areas of your life. Like you feel like, okay, I'm hungry, I'm going to go make something to eat. And you find you're able to manifest food and, you get the food and you prepare it and turn it into a meal and you eat it. And it was pretty easy. Why? Because you don't put all these blocks and filters in the way of telling you that you can't do it, or that it's shameful to do it, or that it would be something you would regret or have guilt over. You just say, well, I need to eat, so I'm just going to eat. So you do that. It's much the same with these other frequencies, except we put some kind of rule or filter in the way that prevents it from coming through. And that's essentially the big lie. The big lie is that you don't have a choice. The big lie is that you can't actually relax and remove these filters. It's like in the movie The Matrix, where Thomas Anderson, the main character at the start, thinks he's Thomas Anderson, when the truth is he's actually Neo. And he has all this ability to control and change his reality. But he buys into the big lie of his reality. And he's offered two different pills to decide which is which. And only one of those pills is actually a drug. The blue pill is the drug that keeps him in the land of delusion, thinking that he's small and thinking that he's not a being of light able to create his reality. And the red pill is not the drug. The red pill is the truth, right? It's, simple. And that's the, same thing to recognize with your reality, is that there's a big lie you're telling yourself if you're not experiencing what you desire. Something you're putting in the way of that, something that's filtering your light and preventing it from reflecting it back to you. One of the main things there is tolerance. I mentioned objectifying your reality. That slows it down to molasses speed. It's really like freezing the light energy. But another one is using tolerance instead of using love. Love is a frequency where if you can invite more love into your life, just love energy, that is a very powerful frequency. It's a very attractive frequency. But what weakens it is mistaking love for tolerance. And when you think that love and tolerance are the same, you filter your light in such a way that the love doesn't really emanate in a way that it can attract what you really desire. Instead, you put out frequencies of tolerance, which brings you reflections of not having what you desire. For instance, people who feel, who seem to be judgmental towards you, and they don't really resonate with you having what you want. And if you said, well, I want to have this in my life, and I want to have abundance, and I want to have love, and I want to have beauty and wonder and adventure and fun, travel, whatever you like to bring into your life and have that be abundant. And you say, also, I don't want to have stress and worry and anxiety and depression. I feel like I don't want to have those vibes in my life. I don't need them. That's not what my light is here to do. And you tell people that. And they say, who are you to do that, right? And then you might buy into something like, well, I have to live up to their expectations. I have to satisfy them. What if their family, right? Their family or their friends or their colleagues, people you've known for a long time, and you create these rules and they filter your light. When the solution is just simply relax those filters and rules and say, look, if you're another person in my life and you're a carrier of energies, you're a light being too. And you're affected by the light of others as well. And so if you permit others close to you to shine frequencies that counteract your own, they interfere with your own light patterns, right? And you put out your light and then they turn it from blue to red because they're shining a big red bulb, in your blue field, and you get mixed colors then, and you don't get the bounce back of the blue that you want to put out, right? And so you got to look at your reality and go, what are these other light bulbs doing here? Everything in your reality is a light bulb. Everything, physical matter, other people. You could even say situations and circumstances, but everything around you in your reality is also a light bulb. So you want to fill your reality with what resonates with you, with what complements your frequencies and shines at the same frequencies. Even something as simple as like deciding what I wanted to put on the background behind me. When I initially started making videos, put the shelves in, recently, I just put some things on the shelf where I thought, okay, that'll look nice on camera. And then after doing a handful of videos like that, I kind of took a second look at it and I felt my way in the space, and I was like, some of this is shining light that's not what I need. I had like a baseball bat in there. It was like, so, okay, sporty vibes and a baseball. Okay, sporty vibes. And that was, partly from an event I did a few months ago called Bases Loaded. And I was like, all right, let's, put that energy in the space. And I thought, do I resonate with that now? Is that kind of the sporty energy? Is that what I want to shine as part of my light? Nope. And so I'll take that out, put something else in. But there's a teddy bear there. I like bear energy. Bear is like the bear is like an animal spirit to me. It's a protective energy. I'm even wearing, I don't know if you see, I'm even wearing bear socks. So, I don't know if they show up on camera, but, that's an energy I like in my life. That complements the light I put out. I put some, these are images from Aztec calendars and things. And, everything here, everything on the shelves, I decided to put in something, meaningful to me. Something that has a symbolic meaning, or a memory associated with it, copies of my own book, because I remember, writing them and the content and, putting into it, and just everything that complements my light. So when I sit in this space, it feels like I'm not YouTubing here, I'm me-tubing, right? So this is my light. This is the space of my light. If you're watching my channel, you're not watching me YouTube, you're watching me me-tube. I'm shining my light out into the space of my reality and creating what I like. One of the things I like is I like service. Service feels great to me. I like shining light in ways that create bounce back reflections of other people, of transformation, appreciation, gratitude, wonder, even sometimes like confusion or people being challenged, because that leads to more growth. And so I like having my reality filled with people growing and helping each other, and cooperation. Cooperation is another one. And I found to really get the service thing right, to not go batshit crazy after doing, 20 years of blogging and podcasting sometimes, and videos, doing live events. I mean, you can really take on a lot of other people's energy and want to quit. And a lot of people do that. And a lot of people get into YouTubing. They quit after a couple of years. And part of the reason is they're shining their light out in such a way that it's being filtered. They're being loyal to things that they that are not going to be helpful for them to get the bounce back reflections they want. One of the things I learned, which was a really tricky lesson to see, was getting past this vibe, which is really a filter of entitlement. Like when I wanted to put out vibes of service, generosity, caring, compassion, kindness, gentleness, or even challenging people, then sometimes I get people who saw that as like, oh, great, I can sink my, teeth into this person or claws into this person, and they have to now honor my expectations of them. And, helping people in such a way where it felt like, they were taking more and more in a way that didn't feel right to me, and trying to direct my light to where they wanted it to go instead of where I really wanted it to go. Recently, I got an email from somebody who had been reading my blog a while back, and then he caught up on where I was today and what I was into, and what I was writing about and speaking about, sharing about. And he's like, I'm really disappointed in you. You went on this path, and, you're into this, you're into that, and just unlaying judgment on me. And, I'm like, so you're whining, so I don't remember exactly what I wrote back, but something like, you're complaining at me, whining at me for not satisfying your expectations. Like, I'm not here to live up to your expectations. That's your light. Your expectations are your light. You do with them as you will. But if you come into my reality and you put expectations onto me that don't align with where I want to shine my light and how I want to shine it and the frequencies I want to experience and I want to explore, then I nudge you to the outside of my reality. Then I basically create a light that's so repulsive to you, it pushes you away, pushes you in the background. I basically use my light to, scare you off, push you back. And I've had to do that many times. Generally, I like to offer people a choice. Do you want to cooperate with the light that I'm shining and complement it and be part of the, emanation of me creating what I want to experience? And can I help you in creating what you want to experience? Is our frequency range compatible? Is your frequency range of where you want to shine and how you want to create your reality compatible with mine? And I find that the people that's true of, even if there's some misalignments there, if we can get clear about, here's the reality we want to co-create together, an overlap of their reality and mine, then it's beautiful. Then we can have really beautiful, wonderful, close connection, friendship, relationship. I mean, that's the relationship I have with my wife, Rochelle. We co-create together. We are very in harmony on what we want to create in our lives. We were like, let's create this. Let's shine our light here. Let's do that. And so we are super compatible light bulbs together in that we create our reality the way we want it to be. It's really wonderful and it's really beautiful and a lot of fun. And there's other people that come into my life and they're very insistent in their frequency range and it's not compatible with mine. they're causing interference patterns in mine. They're causing my blue light to shift over to purple or, magenta, red, something like that. And I'm like, I can't get the bounce back reflections if I have them in my life too close to my light. They have to be distant. Their starlight's interfering with mine and changing the color spectrum of what's emanating in my reality. So it's a matter of shuffling my reality and, to create the compatible frequencies and exploring what's compatible with me and what's not. So the ones who are real insistent and they just, I'm going to be a carrier of a frequency that's going to interfere with mine. Great. Then you're going to go into a different stellar neighborhood entirely. I'm going to push you to the outer edge of my reality and you're not going to be in it with me. For instance, I just don't have assholes in my reality. Like there's some people that tolerate that, that kind of energy, that people who are assholes. They just want to be, mean-spirited towards other people. And I just feel like, I don't really want to have that kind of energy in my reality unless I feel like I'm using it to repel asshole energy that's, already getting too close, and I just use their own energy against them, and it kind of pushes them back out to the outer edges of my reality. I'm like, you go to your own stellar neighborhood and shine the light you want. And just basically saying, look, you can create what you want. You want to do the asshole energy thing, great. But I'm not interested in that, so you go over there and shine your asshole light in that direction, and you create the bounce back reflections of a reality in which you get to be the asshole character. Great, do that. I am all for everybody here getting to experience the bounce back reflections of what they want. This is a vast, vast, vast universe. Even the planet, plenty of space for everybody to go out there and experience the bounce back reflections of what they want. And another thing you might notice is like other people, you might say, wow, there's a lot of people out there doing things I don't want to experience. Great. Let them, let them. You just realize like, hey, there's a lot of space here for this to happen. And reality is bringing you an invitation of how are you going to deal with the presence of other people exploring other energies that you don't agree with. And the answer is simple. You just push them to the outer edge of your reality and you leave them. You leave them behind. You let them do what they want to do. You can give them a choice. You can say, hey, you want to, shift your frequency range so we're compatible? Or do you insist on staying in the range you're in, or, exploring frequencies that are just not compatible with mine? And maybe they say, oh, yeah, I'll get into your range. That sounds good to me. But they don't do it. Then, you might say, well, you said you were going to do it, but you may have the will to do it. But I need to see the competence that you can do it, and you're going to do it. If you're not seeing evidence of that, you might say, well, now I have a choice. I got to accept this. I got to tolerate this and not be able to get to experience what I really would like to create with my own light, energy. I'm always going to have a corrupted, bounce back experience. Life is not going to give me what I want. It's going to give me, partial matches. And then I have to tolerate a bunch of stuff. How high do you want to raise your standards? And I found life becomes really magical, really beautiful. The more I raise my standards, the more I let go of and shed those loyalties to things, you have to have this person in your life because blah, blah, blah. You got the reasons. There's a family member, it's a friend, and you got to have these incompatible frequencies in your life. Do you really need to do that? Is that true? It's not true. It's just a frame. And if you challenge those frames and let go of some of the low-end frequencies that are interfering with the experience you want to have in life, you chop off those low-end things, you remove some of the filters and the constraints and the blocks, the things that are causing interference with your own life, now you can start really having what you want to experience. And I think what this leads ultimately is the idea to love all, to get your reality to a point where you really love all of it. I find that I can love everybody as long as I find the appropriate distance from them in my reality. Some people, when they're really close, I'm like, it's really hard to love you, this close. You're not in the right place because you're causing interference with my love energy going out into the world. I want to have space to love too, and experience what I want to experience. And if you're coming in my reality and you're causing interference, well, I got to nudge you out. Go to your own, star system, and you go experience what you want. But our goals are not compatible. Our desires are not compatible, and I recognize that. And there's plenty of space for people to get to experience what they want. People, you can, even say, oh, well, look at what happened in the latest U.S. election, and people going off the deep end and stuff. And I go, yeah, that's great. Let them do that. I don't feel threatened by them at all, because that's another thing I don't put in my reality. I don't put the feeling of being threatened by people who are experiencing frequencies I find incompatible with mine. I just go, you want to explore that? You go way, way, way over there. You got plenty of space over there, and you come into my space. The rules are going to be different, and I'm going to push back and I'm going to resist. And the thing is, I realized I could do that pretty much, on any level, because I always have control over, the area that's closest to me. Sometimes I might say, well, the walls have closed in and it's just me here, and I haven't been able to control anything around me, but I can at least control what goes on in my own thoughts, in my own mind, in my own space, my inner space. That's my sanctuary. I can always retreat to that, say through meditation, go into my own mind and say, I'm going to create with my light. In spirit space, I'm going to create with that. And it could feel like I'm in solitary confinement. I'm in a cell. But if I can at least wield autonomy over that space, over the space that's very close to me, like physically just immediately, around my body, say, controlling my own aura. If I can wield autonomy there, then I always have the option to push it out further and further and further, into what seems the physical space of my reality. And I can create the experience that I want to have. And that's really beautiful. And I find that, again, there really is a place for everybody in my reality. Even people that I just go, oh, that's asshole energy. But I like having the asshole energy way, way, way over there. And I get to look at it and go, okay, yeah, it's an asshole star. Great. I don't want to visit it, but I'm happy for it to shine brightly over there and remind me of what I don't want. And that's the value. And I find there's a lot of things in my reality I push way out to the, outer, star bases and such, and push you way out to another galaxy even, and just keep your light over there so I can see you as a reminder of possibility space. It tells me there's all kinds of things out there, and many of them I don't want close to me. Many of them I don't really want them in my star system, but knowing that they're out there, seeing all those different things, having such a variety, having such a wide array of possibilities, to me that's inspiring, because it tells me, wow, there's so much possibility out there, so much I can explore, so much I can experience. And it tells me I can change the light I shine in so many ways, and I can bring things in. I can, if I choose to, I can see, well, there's, depression energy. Do I want to bring that in? I could bring that in, experience that, and go, okay, this is what it feels like to be depressed. I can bring in grief energy. I can bring in loss energy. I can bring in resentment energy. I can bring in pressure and stress and worry. I can bring in anxiety energy. And I test those, and I go, oh, my light's generating anxiety bounce backs, or the light that's being filtered by the blocks and filters I have in the way. Do I want to change that? And I realize it's a choice. It's a big lie that we don't have a choice. We do have a choice. So then I do what it takes and figure out what how I'm blocking my light. First, I start with the light. Like, what do I want to emanate? Yeah, let's invite that in. I don't want to invite stress. So let's invite what I would like. How about relaxation? How about fun? How about joy? How about pleasure? How about enthusiasm or excitement, passion? Compassion, caring, gentleness, kindness. What is it I want to invite in? So I just basically say, all right, let's start emanating that with my light. And then, am I getting the bounce back that I want? No, it's not. I'm not having it yet. Then what's blocking the having? And something else is corrupting my light. It's changing the frequencies. It's combining with it. It's additive. So then I look around me. What's closest to me? What am I doing? Oh, damn, there's some shame, or there's resentment, or there's regret, or there's mentioned before, like you could have a feeling of unattractiveness. You could have imposter syndrome. And I challenge those, and I go, do I have to generate those with my light? Do I have to generate shame? Do I have to generate imposter syndrome? Do I have to generate fear, worry, anxiety? And the answer is no. I don't have to generate any of that. I don't have to choose it. So then I look under the surface and go, what's the lie? What's the lie that tells me I have to be generating this? What's the lie that is generating this? When my light is trying to emanate something else and it's not, where did I go wrong? How am I using my light bulbness incorrectly? And I learn lessons about that. And I go, oh, I'm creating stress. And I got to take responsibility for it. I'm creating stress. And that's something I learned is like you can assume 100% responsibility of your reality. It's not meant to pressure you. It's not meant to create feelings of inadequacy or shame for what you've done in the past, or feeling disappointed in what you're creating when you tell yourself that. But just realizing like I'm responsible. I have a choice in what I create in my reality. And again, the answer is love all. Emanate love energy into your reality and notice what doesn't align with love, what doesn't align with you. The you-ness that you want to put out, what you really want to experience, with the frequencies that are just not you, and you just feel like, this is not me. Are you stress? Are you worry? Are you anxiety? Are you asshole energy? Are you celibacy? And if the answer to any of those things is yeah, that resonates. Beautiful. Do that. You go do that. Be in your star system and do that, and invite other people who want to do something similar. And you can all have this beautiful light you create together. Create a chorus of wonderful, aligned, cooperative light. And you can all, bask in each other's emanations as well. It's beautiful. It's wonderful to be able to do that. I love having people close to me who are compatible in the frequencies that they want to experience, because it just feels like it energizes my own. It's like they shine their light on me, and I shine my light back to them, and we just amplify, and we magnify, and we intensify the kind of realities that we can experience, and we can invite in more beauty, more wonder. And I always have to be vigilant at what gets into my star system, what flies into my space. I'm like, oh, damn, not that comet again. The comet of worry. Let's just send that one, send that one on its way. Send it a blast of supernova energy and just push it out, melt it. Change the situation. We can do that. We can, we're star beings. We can do a lot with light. We can use our light like a light bulb, like a star, or we could use it like a laser, and just burn something off, blast it away, push it to the, outer ends of our cosmos, if you will. So love all, create the reality in which everything in it is you. You go like, this is harmonic with me. And it may be a lot of variety inside. For me, it's not just one thing. For you, probably not just one thing. You may realize that, it's not just about being in peace and love all the time. Maybe you want excitement, adventure, passion, joy. You can have all that. Anything you can conceive of vibrationally, you can create it. But it's a bit of a process to go through and pull out and release what's no longer needed. Laser it out to the ends of your system, like something on a solar sail, just sending it way, way, way far away until you find, okay, now I can turn off the laser for that because it's in the spot. It's far enough away. That sounds good. I kind of want it over there as a reminder. So that's the invitation. Create your reality with what you love, with who you are, and what is in harmonic resonance with what you perceive to be the real you.